Welcome to Strip Cover Lit. I'm Dalton Gentry, and we are here for yet another day of Litmas. Very close to the end of Litmas, getting there one day at a time. So do appreciate everybody who's joined alongside with us doing Litmas this year. We are really enjoying seeing your videos, and it's great to have everybody along. If you heard that, that was Megan sneezing. Anyway, today we are talking about some idea, some thought, something, some literary something that's been stuck in my craw this year. And for those of you who don't know, a craw is the stomach of a person or an animal. And to have something stuck in your craw oftentimes means it's causing considerable or abiding resentment. We are using this because Adrian likes to use terms like stuck in my craw. But anyway, this is something that's stuck with me this year, something that's caused me just to do a little bit of thinking, and something that would be good to just address, something we've been keeping in mind. So for the first time this year, we'll say first time, I read a novel by Shirley Jackson. I've read The Lottery. We've talked about that a little bit, the short story, which is a great short story. But this was the first year that I read The Haunting of Hill House. We also read We Have Always Lived in the Castle, which unfortunately was lost. However, Shirley Jackson has an amazing gift. We used to talk quite a bit about writing here on Strip Cover Lit, something we haven't addressed too terribly often, but we do the Hot and Sticky Summer Challenge every year. But we used to have something we call our Writers' Workshop videos, where we not only did some literary analysis on a work, but did it from a writer's standpoint. And I think that's what stuck with me this year, is Shirley Jackson's amazing ability to embed ideas within her writing. Now, oftentimes, those of us who envision ourselves as writers, or are successful writers, sit down, and I like to think we have this idea as storytellers, we just want to let this story go. We just want to get it all down on the page, get the words out, which is a great exercise. It's a wonderful thing, especially during NaNoWriMo, is getting the words done on that first draft. But what Shirley Jackson proved to me this year, which is something I think is really stuck with me and we should always keep in mind as we're writing, is not only are you telling the story, but you need to select your words carefully. And you need to be able to take those words and embed those little thoughts in your reader's mind. And Shirley Jackson is amazing at this. Through her word choice, we can read over something and it's just setting the scene, it's painting that picture. But the words that she chooses specifically embed that little something in the back of our mind that sticks with us. And we don't realize it's there because it's so masterfully placed into the writing that we just kind of glaze over it. But for some reason, it's in the back of the mind. It sticks with us. And Adrian talked about this extensively in our video on The Haunting of Hill House, which I would suggest if you haven't had a chance of watching. But by comparison, the best way I think I can describe this would be comparing J.K. Rowling with Shirley Jackson. Shirley Jackson is amazing at embedding these little subtle moments that for some reason stick with us as readers. And it's such masterful choices of words that allow this to happen. While on the other hand, J.K. Rowling is sometimes a little heavy-handed and clunky with her writing, and things seem to be in the writing that I'm not sure if she intended them to actually be there. So one thing I think that's really stuck with me this year, that's just been in my craw, if you will, is when writing, and whether that's in your first draft or subsequent drafts, you need to keep in mind your word choicing. Not only are you telling a story, but you're creating a world for your reader. You're really drawing them into your story, and you're acting as everything for them. You're setting the scene, you're setting the pace, and although you can be setting up this great world, you can be doing some world building, you can also be setting up things that your reader isn't even aware of. Things that are going to be just kind of lodged back there in the back of their brain that they're going to know. And they're going to understand, but they may not know that they've come across it already. To be able to do that is definitely a gift for a very skilled writer, and I think Shirley Jackson is a beautiful example of that. But that is definitely something I would definitely like to work on a little bit, something I'd like to hone my skills a little bit more towards, because oftentimes when writing, My biggest issue is getting the words out, getting it on paper and getting it started and continuing forward with it. So oftentimes you have days where if you're setting a word count, you're going to go for 1,000 words today. You're just trying to get that 1,000 words, which again, great practice, essential practice as a writer is to make sure you're getting the words down. But sometimes just take a breath. Sit down and really think about what you're writing. Think about what you're trying to do. And maybe polish it up a little bit. Work on not just that first draft, but the second draft. Work on cleaning things up and keep your reader in mind. Keep in mind what you're trying to accomplish with the story without giving everything away, but still bury those things throughout there. It's kind of hard to describe there, but again, I think if you've experienced some of Shirley Jackson's writing, that would make a lot more sense to you. So, that has been what has been stuck in my craw this year in a literary term, and this is Litmas. If you haven't joined us so far, there is still a little bit of time left to get a few Litmas videos up for the year. And again, please join us. Please join us. I am just terribly tired. I apologize. Been a long couple days. Please join us on Christmas Day. We have a very special video planned. Damn near an hour-long video. Something very different for Strip Cover Lit that we're pretty proud of, and something we had a lot of fun doing. So we hope you take a little bit of your Christmas Day. If you're sitting at home trying out those new gadgets, maybe join us here on Strip Cover Lit. And as always, if you like this kind of thing, make sure you hit the subscribe button down below. Give this video a like as well. And if you'd like to help us create more great content like this here on Strip Cover Lit, there's a link as always to our Patreon to be found in the description below.